Good morning, students. Unit number 3, lesson number 3. Stephen Hawking. He is an English theoretical physicist, cosmologist, author, and director of research at the Center of Theoretical Cosmology within the Cambridge University. Hawking was the first to set out a theory of cosmology explained by a union of the general theory of relativity and quantum machines. Hawking is an honorary fellow of the Royal Society of Arts (FRSA), a lifetime member of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, and a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian award in the US. This lesson gives us an insight about the great scientist, his life, and his work. Student, from this lesson, you will understand the life of Hawking. Hawking was one of the greatest scientists. He has done a lot of things for the betterment of the human beings. Stephen Hawking, born January 8, 1942. He is an British scientist, professor, and author who has done groundbreaking work in physics and cosmology, and whose books have helped to make science accessible to everyone. Student, cosmology means the science of the origin and development of the universe. At the age of 21, while studying cosmology at the University of Cambridge, he was diagnosed with hypertrophic, means the muscular tensions. Hypertrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS. Part of his life story was depicted in the 2014 film The Theory of Everything. Stephen Hawking has written or co-written a total of 15 books. In 1988, Hawking catapulted to international prominence with the publication of A Brief History of Time. The short informative book became an account of cosmology for the masses and offered an overview of space and time, the existence of God and the future. The work was an instant success, spending more than 4 years atop the London Sunday Times bestseller list. A Brief History of Time also wasn't as easy to understand as some had hoped. So in 2001, Hawking followed up his book with The Universe in a Nutshell, which offered a more illustrated guide to cosmology's big theories. Students, Hawking wrote a lot of books related to the science of the origin and the development of the universe. So he had thought a lot of things related to the earth, related to the universe, and whatever he understood, whatever he researched, he has written into the books. In 2005, Hawking authored the even more accessible A Briefer History of Time, which further simplified the original work's core, means basic concepts, and touch upon the newest developments in the field like string theory. Together, these three books, along with Hawking's own research and papers, articulate the physicist's personal search for science holy grail. Students, holy grail here, a thing which is eagerly pursued or sought after, a single unifying theory that can combine cosmology, the study of the big, with quantum machines, the study of the small, to explain how the universe began. It's this kind of ambitious thinking that has allowed Hawking, who claims he can think in 11 dimensions, to lay out some big possibilities for humankind. He is convinced that time travel is possible. In September 2010, Hawking spoke against the idea that God could have created the universe in his book, The Grand Design. Hawking previously argued that a belief in a creator could be compatible with modern scientific theories. His new work, however, concluded that the Big Bang was the inevitable consequence of the laws of physics and nothing more. Because there is a law such as gravity, the universe can and will create itself from nothing, Hawking said. Spontaneous creation is the reason there is something rather than nothing, why the universe exists, why we exist. The world, the earth, has the power of gravity. Students, first, Hawking had argued that belief in a creator could be compatible with modern scientific theories. But his new work, however, concluded that the Big Bang was the inevitable consequence of the laws of physics and nothing more. The Grand Design was Hawking's first major publication. Within his new work, Hawking set out to challenge Sir Isaac Newton's belief that the universe had to have been designed by God, simply because it could not have been born from chaos. It is necessary to invoke to God to light the blue touch paper and set the universe going. At the age of 21, Stephen Hawking was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis (ALS). In a very simple sense, the nerves that control his muscles were shutting down. At the time, doctors gave him 2.5 years to live. Students, it was very difficult for Hawking to talk because of this disease. Hawking first began to notice problems. On occasion he would trip and fall or slur his speech. He didn't look into the problem until 1963. During his first year at Cambridge, for the most part, Hawking had kept these symptoms to himself. But when his father took notice of the condition, he took Hawking to see a doctor. For the next 2 weeks, the 21-year-old college student made his home at a medical clinic where he underwent a series of tests. They took a muscle sample from my arm, stuck electrodes into me, and injected some radioactive fluid into my spine, and watched it going up and down with x-rays as they tilted the bed. He once said, after all that, they didn't tell me what I had except that it was not multiple sclerosis and that I was an atypical case. Students, multiple sclerosis means abnormal hardening of body tissue. Means it was very difficult for him to move, to go from one place to another. Eventually, however, doctors did diagnose Hawking with the early stages of ALS. It was devastating news for him and his family. Students, At the age of 21, he was 21 years old, a student at Oxford. On occasion, he would trip and fall or slur his speech. Later on, he was diagnosed with ALS. It was a disease in which the nerves that control his muscles were shutting down. He was unable to move, unable to speak. He was given 2.5 years to live. But as we know, he went on to live more than a half century thanks to an early diagnosis, advanced medical treatment, and complete support from family, friends, and students. He lived a life and made major contributions to existing theories in physics and cosmology. Students, though he was unable to move, but with the help of computer, whatever the information he had got, he has given to the world. Students, Hawking did not accept defeat. He did not accept defeat, though he was ill, though he had the disease, but he did not stop the work and he became the greatest scientist. Students, if any wrong thing happens with us, we blame to the circumstances, to the God, to the nature. But Hawking did not accept defeat. He did not blame to anyone and he continued his work. Though a lot of problems he faced, but he could get success and he became the greatest scientist and work for the world. Thank you very much.